Do you have a direction check? Set up the tree, cross from the apple side. To be on the left-hand side.
Also coming up on your left-hand side is Soundstage 25 through 22. That's where NBC filmed Providence. And to give you a better idea of the movies we're currently working on, look back up and you'll see we're working on a movie called The Hulk. Directed by Ang Lee, it stars Eric Bana, who is one of the stars of Black Hawk Down, directed by Ridley Scott. We're also working with Paul Walker again in a movie called The Fast and the Furious 2. And for November of this year, we've got The Cat in the Hat starring Mike Myers and Kelly Preston. That's filming in about 8 of our sound stages.
We thought about filming in Houston, Texas, where the original control room for the Apollo missions still exists. Unfortunately, NASA's engineers didn't have filmmaking in mind when they built Mission Control. We had to build our own Mission Control inside Stage 27. Everything had to be exact, even down to the tiniest detail.
In addition to filming blockbuster movies like Apollo 13, Universal also is one of the biggest music divisions, who represent artists like U2, Aerosmith, Limp Bizkit, for Hitchcock's old office building number 5195. Before we do, I've got to tell you what we're going to be seeing up ahead of us, because I do have to get off the microphone for filming of Fox's series 24 starring Kiefer Sutherland. They're filming just past the stop sign up ahead of us and to your left in our metropolitan areas. The buildings we'll be passing by are called facades, fancy French word meaning false front. The fronts and sides of buildings only, and what might appear to be made out of brick symmetry and what on the front of them is made out of lightweight plastics, foam over, and fiberglass. Pretty lightweight materials, so that from production to production we're able to change the external appearance of the buildings to represent the different cities in the world. Now the first street we'll pass by after the stop sign, where they're doing a lot of the work for 24, is New York Street, and can be viewed as New York in the movie End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Gabriel Byrne. Can also be seen in the New Line Cinema's release of Goldmember with Mike Myers. Then after we get past these sets, we'll be going over the top of a bridge that I'm hoping has been fixed by now. If not, it may be your last opportunity to share love with one another, so get started. I'll be back on the microphone once we get past this area, over the top of the bridge, about 3 minutes away into our greens department. Thank you again. Happy off the microphone for filming of Fox's 24. Our world-class cinematographer Yanush Kaminski. Coming up on your left-hand side is the Fleetwood RV, commandeered by Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum. That was the command module, pushed over the cliff by the 2 T-Rex. From Jurassic Park 3, we take you by one of the boats used in that movie. And for your visual enjoyment, there's Carnage, made out of lightweight plastics and foam rubber. Now, I'm sure you folks have heard the phrase, time is money. Well, here in Hollywood, that's especially true. The average summer blockbuster can cost up to $1 million per finished minute of film. With those kind of economics in mind, even though Mexico's only a couple of hours away, it's become economically feasible for us to build a section of Mexico here in our lot. This next area is called Old Mexico, and it's where Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short rode through on horseback in Orion's Three Amigos. Now, I grew up in a small town on the Oregon coast called Coos Bay. It's about halfway up the coast. For those of you who've been to Coos Bay, Oregon, about 7 years ago they experienced 83 inches of rain without the heat of a... show you what it was like to grow up in Coos Bay, Oregon. We're going to bring in a storm from your left-hand side. We'll start with some thunder and lightning. The lightning created by using high-intensity bolts, thunder created by using a set of subwoofers. And you're more than welcome to stand. We're just gonna add in some rain on your left. You'll be fine. Folks, the rain is created by using a set of sprinklers located on the trees called rainbows. We'll show some backbone. In Oregon, that's spit, that's not even rain. Live life. You know, I'm really beginning to worry about some of you taking this tram ride so seriously. If you take life this seriously, you will combust. If you're sitting on the left side of the tram and you absolutely refuse to smile, I'm really sorry. Because in LA, we have brains like this, we have flesh, lungs. I'd like you to say hello to my little friend on your left. Oh, I got lots of love for you. Hey, folks sitting on the left, look at people sitting on your right. They're laughing at you. You think that's fair? I don't think that's fair. Oh, it's coming soon. Well, not yet. I'm not that obvious, but it is coming. Now, this is all recaptured water sent up the hill into 1,000-gallon storage tanks waiting for you folks to down the old blue seats. And we're about ready to move on now, so if I can get everybody... Where two young detectives named Simon and Saba would go. Whenever they wanted to go to Tijuana vacation, that was TJ. Now, Old Mexico borders the oldest section on our lot, called 6 Points, Texas. In fact, behind the feeding board on your left is the oldest section in Saga. 6 Points, Texas, for a reason. Built back in 1915 by our founder, Carl Lemley. At the time, the 6 streets met in that one area. We could film 6 silent westerns up and down the 6 streets at the same time, up to 200 plus silent movies a year, while also utilizing this street, Denver Street. It's pretty peaceful these days, but in the heyday of the Western, it saw a lot of action. You could guarantee in every true Western, your hero was going to get into a major fight. Punches would be thrown into cowboys, thrown up against brick walls, some of them thrown through windows, and chairs broken over their heads. Our cowboys were tough, but they weren't crazy. So the punches that were thrown were carefully choreographed fight illusions. Brick walls made out of styrofoam, the windows had a breakaway material called candy glass or sugar glass, and the chairs made out of balsa wood. Keep all of that information in mind as you watch these next pugilistic events.
You're just gonna stir things up here. You bet I am.
Where one of Hollywood's biggest stars is supposed to lie in wait. He's a little temperamental, so just be careful. Now remember, these buildings we'll be passing by are used to represent various cities in the world. They were frozen when Mr. Freeze and Warner Brothers Pictures released Batman and Robin with George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. And right before we enter the quiet zone, coming up on your right-hand side, on the other side of New York Central Park, you'll see the Lion Estate signs marking the entrance to Marty McFly's subdivision in the Back to the Future movies. They're right about now on your right-hand side. Okay, folks, I'll be off the microphone until we get in the next sound stage, about a minute away. Thank you again for your patience.
Last sighted nearly 200 block of Old Fulton Avenue. We now go with live coverage on the scene with our helicopter reporter, Kelly King. Kelly.
We're now hovering above the wreckage of a crushed L train. The helicopter beside us is searching for... Wait! There's a tram load of people down there. We've got to go down and warn them. Attention, people on the tram. You are in danger. Repeat, you are in... Now, how do we down and help them? Behind us, where? Let's see who. Where?
In the helicopter now. Well, she's close. Good job, brother. Get us out of here, man. That's just cool. One more quarter, we're not in much better shape. On your right, it's you. Go. Will you stop, Ellie Aiken? scared by this. No, I don't think he cares. Oh, shoot. Folks, we're going over. Oh, that smell. Once again, folks, as these doors open, it must be on the back of see how it appeared on film and how it appeared during filming. Now on your right is New York Central Park, at least as much as the cameras need to see, and that's all the cameras did see in a Burt Reynolds produced movie that was done here for the USA Network called The Last Producer. This lagoon can also be seen in a couple of the smaller sequences in the submarine thriller now on DVD and video cassette called U-571 with Matthew McConaughey. For the surface attacks filmed elsewhere, they built a full-scale 600-ton, fully seaworthy vessel. We'll start with that vessel on your screens with the rainbirds pouring the rain atop it. For the underwater depth charging sequences and torpedo runs, they built a quarter-scale block of gelatin, which they cut in half. They separated the two pieces and melted the pieces back together again using gas jets. So when we reversed the film, it looked like the Red Sea was parting. Oh, and if you brought expensive shoes with you today, what were you thinking? Lift them and have your cameras out ready for a great Kodak moment. The bubbles on your right, that's the fate of the last tramp. It's where Norman Bates stashed his murder victims in their cars in the movie Psycho, a movie for which I hold a great affinity. Should make it for real safe. All right, folks, lift those valuables, and if you get wet, don't give me that look. Up to you. Let's go on vacation to the island of Bora. The great hotel coming up on your left can be seen in the Tales of the Golden Monkey series on years ago after Magnum PI. And any object that is not nailed down to a set, if an actor touches it, is considered a prop or property. It can be as large as a grand piano or as small as a paperclip. Well, after productions have ended, those objects are damaged beyond repair or brought back, and we'll store a few of them behind the green fence coming up on your left. A more tangible example of a prop, those lampposts on your left-hand side. But the majority of them are brought back and stored also on your left in that rather large building. Now, that's our property department, and here's Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bonds, the stars of the movie Big Fat Liar, to tell you about that building's role in their movie.
In Big Fat Liar, Amanda and I live in the property department. The Universal Prop Department contains the largest collection in the industry, with well over 1 million props.
And believe me, we put those props to good use.
And a good number of those props utilized dress this area to look like ancient Egypt. This is the Square of Warriors as seen in the action-adventure film The Scorpion King, starring WWE sensation The Rock and Oscar nominee Michael Clark Duncan. The buildings on your right-hand side are the same ones you're now viewing up on your video monitors. This is how the area was dressed for filming during a day shoot, and how it was lit at night. The area was also dressed to look like ancient Rome for filming the movie Spartacus, starring Lord Olivier and Kirk Douglas. That was Spartacus Square, so welcome to ancient Rome. So we'll take you from Rome and Egypt to just about every single country in the world by changing the language in the windows. Little Europe on your left-hand side has become Pamplona, Spain. For The Running of the Bulls, Castle Rock Picture for an Academy Award-winning Best Picture called All Quiet on the Western Front, and Paris, France for Aaron Spelling's production of Beverly Hills 90210. And you can't talk about Little Europe without bringing up a genre that we almost invented, the horror movie genre, with various versions of Frankenstein that were filmed all up and down those cobblestone-laden roads on your left. And usually the angry mob of villagers would chase Frankenstein's monster into this next little courtyard on your left, adjacent to the Court of Miracles, named after a movie filmed there in 1919, a movie called The Miracle Man, starring Lon Chaney. Well, it looks like Jason's giving a VIP tour today. Jason, good to see you, young man. What? What, me? Now, that courtyard can also be seen in a couple of episodes of Fox's production of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, now on the UPN. But as we enter Soundstage 50, this is one of the few dual-layer sets in Hollywood. The level we've entered on is a subway system, whereas up above your heads, there's a city street scene, equipped with hotels, restaurants, cars, trucks. Absolutely amazing. Technically, this is known as a hot set. Everything in here is dressed and ready for filming, so when the director comes back and yells action, they're good to go. And it looks as if the crew's left and ready for the next shot. Which brings up an important movie term, continuity. Every single scene is comprised of dozens of takes shot from multiple camera angles. So it's up to our script supervisors to make sure that whatever is on the set remains in exactly the same spot in between shots. What? It's a small California term, and we go with them all the time. We're fine. Although they normally stop. We're going for the big one. Oh no. Look back, the car's on the left side. Alive. Oh, did you get it? Oh, sweet. I just thought I'd share. On your right side, the concrete's buckling. Oh yeah, this is great. Anti-air! What else could go wrong? Why would I ask? Train's coming through on your left side, car 1. Left side, it has nowhere to go. Oh, it's keeping on the illness up here. Oh, we're okay, except for those of you that laughed at the people sitting on your left. Here comes some pain on your right. Survived a simulated 8.3 earthquake. Base unit can get full, the whole thing should reset itself in under a minute. Oh, by the way, cars 1, 2, 3. You think you folks got it bad? Look up at your monitors. What happened to car 4? They got it worse. I felt y'all were getting too hot back there. Can you feel the love? So, we take it from high tech back to no tech. On your left, we go by 6 Points, Texas. Now consider that since these structures are built back in 1915 at the time we were filming silent movies, so there's no need to control sound like we do today, we still, however, needed finished interiors and exteriors. The majority of the buildings on your left have both and are called practical sets. Unlike the facades, which can only be filmed from the outside, these can be used for internal and external filming. Now we're going to take you up John Wayne Road, where we film modern-day westerns like the United Artists presentation of Wild Bill, with Jeff Bridges' Wild Bill, and The Cherokee Kid with Sinbad, an HBO production. As we do, I want you to look at something that's kind of strange. No, I do not mean me. I know I'm on. Instead, take a look at the doors coming up on your left. Notice how tall and wide they are. Compare them to the doors coming up on your right, which are short and thin. During filming of a lot of our westerns, oftentimes the leading ladies were taller than the leading men. You can't have that. So you put the leading ladies up against tall, wide doors on the left side, made them look much more frail and petite. Then we put actors like John Wayne against short, thin doors on the right side, made him look much more austere and imposing. Yeah, Wayne needed help. He stood at 6'3", 6'4". My heart bleeds. Here's some of the best Western actors that have graced our streets.